We're back at the 2022 PDGA Masters Disc Golf World Championships for the Final 9 here in the MP40 division. Grant Zellner and Garry Patton with you as we venture back into the woods at Northwood Black for the front 9, which will suffice as our final 9 today.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch this come to a conclusion and the exciting finish here of this very contested tournament so far. Looks like it's going to come down to the very wire.
We'll get a quick look at our leaderboard here. Everybody from 5th and up, where they are is where they will stay. So congratulations quickly to those guys: Stephen Rico, Jimmy Martinez, Dave Feldberg, Chris Orrick, Matthew Blakely, and Alan Wagner for your finishes here in this 2022 World Championships. Our final 4, though, will start here at hole number 1, a 455-foot par 3.
Yeah, there's OB on the left there and OB long. These players are really looking to get off with a par would feel just fine in this situation here.
First on the box, from Arvada, Colorado, Joe Rovere.
Joe Rovere has been at or near the top of the field all week long. No surprise to see him tied with Martin as we go into this final 9.
Yeah, and the only real trouble here off the tee is to the left. I mean, there is long OB, but you're going to have to really put a move on it to get back there. So see if Joe can get through the gap.
Safely to the ground.
Next up, from St. Thomas, Ontario, Canada, Martin Hendel.
I jokingly asked Martin the other day if he paid any attention to the fact that he was the one world player, as in the one non-U.S. player, really left in the hunt. He said, nope, don't give it a thought at all. Yeah,
America,
and
right?
Focused very, very much just on what he can control on his own game. Got that drifting just a little bit.
Oh,
yeah, it gets beyond the lattice fence there.
From Denver, North Carolina, Michael Johansen.
MJ playing his way to the lead card before that semifinal round and managing to stay put.
As he throws his shot here, turning over nicely there. Just that's a safe play, and that should sit.
From Smyrna, Tennessee, Justin Bunnell.
And Justin Bunnell now.
Here we've got to see a couple rounds of coverage of him. I'd imagine he has some sort of maybe mid-range here he's throwing. He likes to throw it nice and high. Let's see if he can hit the gap.
Asking for a little bit more turn. Doesn't get it. Ricochets out of bounds.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate fact of this hole. As most kicks on the left side will send you straight over the lattice fence in OB.
MJ now playing first from 190 feet. Still a little bit of work.
A little bit of work.
About 25
there.
away.
Yeah. Getting the words right out of my mouth there. Yeah, I had the same thoughts.
We've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, it's been a grind, but it's been very enjoyable. As we see Justin here for his approach shot after his OB.
Yeah, for those that haven't been following along all week, these players are playing their 91st hole of disc golf right now.
There is your leader, looking to be possibly your sole leader, depending on what Martin does here. Oh my goodness, he's so close to the stakes. Just out of bounds by maybe a foot or so. And Martin's showing you that normal OB rules do apply on this hole, as they don't necessarily on every hole out here with out of bounds, but this one is the normal OB.
Gives that 75-ish footer a run.
Yeah, and he had to keep that low due to that fallen limb there, as Justin looks like he's maybe about 35 feet or so here. He floats it in nicely.
Unfortunately, that to save the bogey. Justin needing to make some noise early to make sure he's in the hunt by the end of the round.
Here's MJ to see if he can get started out with a par, and he does just that. So we see some gallery over there as he waves ecstatically to them.
Martin in for the bogey as well. Joe's par results in a one-stroke lead.
It sure does. And these players are off. 8 more holes until we crown a champion.
Another look at the putt here of the first, the 35-footer from Justin.
Very clean putt.
And we're on to the second, 580 feet. A par 4 playing up and then down. Players looking to land this shot strategically, preferably up here where footing will be good and flat, just kind of cresting the hill right in this general area. And then things.
Yeah, probably a little wider than the drone's flying, but oh, there they go. Get a little
right. Open up the angle
outside
here
there
for this long and slightly downhill shoot to the basket, which sits in such a way that the ground angles away from the approach shot. That's not an uncommon feature here at either of the Northwoods courses.
Yeah, and I think until the grass grows in just short of the green, that'll be the shot to kind of land short and skip up as Joe is first here. And this looks to be absolutely perfect. And it is absolutely perfect. So Joe is looking to charge here so far in this final 9 as MJ throws the same discus hole 1. It's got that a little right, but maybe can leak through, and
Perfect.
It does.
That'll be just fine right there. Here's Martin. Got this on a similar line to MJ. Doesn't punch through.
Oh, and yeah, it's going to make him pretty cut off there.
Justin ricochets the wrong way. If you're going to bounce, you probably would prefer to bounce left. He goes right.
Yeah, and this is an interesting spot. He's almost on like a little access road or walking path area, trying to get back to the fairway.
Pitches over and across. Now Martin forced to just sort of play around the corner and get what distance he can.
Yeah, and he did that excellently. He took his medicine there. Not really. He didn't extend his boundaries. That was a great shot from Martin. I should have said overextend as Justin throws his third shot there.
His third, does a great job. Catches a late tree that'll keep him outside of the circle, though. Now MJ playing from about 310. Pretty nicely done there. A little bit short. Now Joe also from about 310, but from a different angle.
Albeit the perfect angle.
Just spectacular. Look at this. Oh
my goodness.
Ticks the chains as it goes by. I'm not sure that everybody in the group actually saw the chains move on that. We knew it was close. I don't know if we all were aware it was that close.
Yeah, and here's Martin. He left that a little bit. Didn't quite commit to that shot like he needed to.
Justin now still 75 feet or so. Tries to walk it in.
Yeah, he thought for a moment he had it there.
MJ wound up about 50 feet short there.
Oh, that was very close. Just a little bit low. And here's Martin after leaving that shot just a little bit left. As Grant had said in the whole preview, it drops down a little bit, so that'll be a little bit of a putt left for him in the 20-ish foot range. Here's Joe for a birdie. Just doesn't quite connect there, give it enough power. But he once again has a shot at gaining back-to-back strokes on back-to-back holes to start this final 9. Nice
It's a big bogey save, just sort of limiting the damage here. Needs to stay in contact.
And Martin and MJ are tied for the moment here. And that's not a bad bogey from Justin. Because for him to have an outside par chance, that took an incredible third shot.
Another look at Joe's perfect drive here. Just matches the nose angle just perfectly to glide up the hill and then settle beautifully in the landing zone, opening up that angle to the basket. And we move on to hole number 3, a 604-foot par 4, playing with a pretty narrow shoot here right off of the tee. Then things maybe open up just a scotch as we come to the corner and drift down and to the right for a while before the basket finishes back and to the left.
Yeah, this is a very tough hole. A birdie on this would go a long way here, especially for Martin after losing a couple strokes to Joe at the beginning of this final 9. So these players are looking to execute a very late turning mid-range off the tee. At that big tree, pretty much in the center of your screen right there, just to the right would put you in an ideal landing zone as Joe throws first here.
Just some absolutely diabolical features in the design here at Northwood Black. Joe drifts down into the rough just a little bit there.
Yeah,
kind of goes long.
It's common on this hole to feel like you've executed the shot well and then it just fades out of eyesight. So MJ's looking to hold that over a little bit more to the right. He's content. He threw that well enough to be somewhere down there, which he's a little bit to the left of Joe's lie. Both of them players are just a little bit off.
Sort of drifts down there as well. So Martin, dare I say, with a little bit of an advantage here. If you can just
kind of tight.
Yeah, look at those shots. All of them kind of screaming through the corner here.
Yeah, nothing's wrong with that. I mean, this is almost like a match play scenario.
Right.
I mean, between 4 players, but nonetheless, you get to see your entire competition. As Justin gets okay as well, he'll have a chance at par there. So MJ's probably about 330 from the pin or so.
Going with the roller. Look at this.
That
just bonkers.
I mean, just experience mixed with just an amazing shot there.
And a concerted decision there to go and take the risk. And he actually said as much. Right after he threw that shot, he commented that he decided to take the risk and decided now was the time.
Yeah, I mean, like we were saying in the match play kind of scenario, everything's right in front of you here. You can watch your competitors. You can pressure them. All you have to worry about is or the other three members of the card.
After Martin catches a tree, Justin catches a tree. Now Joe from about 320.
He has a lot of trees to deal with here, but he has a realistic chance at birdie.
Stays up on the plateau above the level of the basket. We'll have an obstructed look from there. Back to Justin.
He's forced with a pretty severe Anheuser, catches a tree. He'll be looking to get up and down for a hopeful bogey there.
Yeah, he's still looking at about 140 feet.
Oh, he almost kicked off the tree and in the basket.
Good little bank shot there.
Yeah, and at least these trees are nice enough to be bigger than others so we can use them as focal points to aim at. As Martin spins a little crafty run there, puts it close.
Joe's in a really thorny bush here.
Yeah, and it looks like he might have to put this on a severe amount of Anheuser to get around the stuff on the right. To give a good run, that is. He does just that as he's grabbed a little bit.
It's a thorn right in the finger, thankfully, on his offhand. Now he's trying to find the rest of them. Not pleasant. Over to Justin now from 20 feet. No problem.
And look how close MJ's roller ended up to the basket.
That's just incredible.
Yeah.
Now acknowledge the crowd sincerely.
That was a good adaptation to a very, very adverse situation from him.
Crowd gave him some hoots and hollers for a par putt earlier in the round. That time, though, everybody applauding the incredible effort here on the third. We'll get a look back at the tee. MJ's form, pretty iconic, I'd say.
I would agree 100%.
On to the fourth, par 4 at 637 feet. Once again, narrow off the tee. Lot to deal with here in the middle. It's almost hard to identify much of a fairway, at least much of a favorable one. You can kind of angle things around from the right to the left as you come into this landing zone, though. And if you're able to, you're rewarded with a fairly straightforward look up here at where the basket is across a creek, which is playing as casual.
Yeah, and the landing zone you were talking about is at least a 400-foot shot. It's very demanding off the tee as MJ starts off the card here. He's looking to kind of that shoot down the center right, have a late turn, and he's going. That'll be fine.
Yeah, drifts just down below that largest of trees.
Yeah, probably not a birdie from there, but that's not a terrible place to be off the tee.
Joe, this looks pretty high. Asking for it to hit something. Actually does get it to hit something there. He'll be fortunate, I think, to save par from there. Well, maybe that's overstating a little bit. I think par is salvageable from there.
Yeah, I think he can get himself into the 200 feet or less upshot range from there still.
Martin actually drifts over there into kind of a similar position. So now Justin.
Yeah, see if you can hit the gap there pretty much straight off the tee with a late turning shot.
Catches a tree kind of before the preferred area there.
As the gallery runs away to get a vantage point.
He may have the best footing and the most ideal gap to play through, but nevertheless, Justin plays first, trying to sweep around the corner here.
And he'll be down in those bushes by the creek somewhere. I'll have something. I don't know if it'll be good or bad, but some sort of a look to get up and down.
MJ now, but closer than Justin. Maybe a more ideal angle.
Yeah, he's going for kind of an understable disc on a late pop. The best he could do here is probably about 40, 50 feet.
That's pretty much what he did down below in the creek.
And I'd call that a win from there. Joe's debating what the best shot is from here.
Time or two this week, Joe has elected to go over the top, taking on a little bit of risk.
Yeah, I think he's trying to think to himself here, if I go in the creek, it's not the end of the world. I can still get up and down. And this creek here, as long as you land within about 60 feet of the bridge, you'll have enough open air to get something up to the basket. This line looks tight from Martin.
Off the branch and hopefully, to your point, down into the creek. I actually want to be down there at this point.
Yeah, there's a pretty steep drop off. Justin here is kind of in that 220-foot range I was speaking of, if you're comfortable with this shot.
Oh! Woo!
We've already almost seen 2 shots go in now from range.
So down to Martin, down in the creek, as mentioned before, with at least some open space up high.
Yeah, and he gets himself up there for a chance.
Yeah, it's actually just inside the edge of the circle, even though you couldn't see his disc come to rest.
So we see Joe. Also to be noted, if you see those berries in the woods that we just saw, do not eat them.
Not the red ones.
Nope. And here's MJ. This would be a very good birdie. And he does it. That is, man, birdieing hole 3 and 4 back to back is a feat that you do not see very often.
Remarkable, and putting himself solidly in the conversation. Look, MJ suddenly tied for the lead.
He is. Ooh, Martin sneaks it in the left side. That was a good save from Martin. Nice putt there from Justin.
Very nice. The hole's beginning to run out just a little bit on Justin, but we are here on the black course here at Northwood, so multi-shot swings, virtually a certainty at some point between here and the end of our final 9. Another look at MJ now, who, as already mentioned, has played himself into a tie for the lead as things sit, but a little bit more golf yet to be played.
Disc. Golf.
Pelaan frisbeegolfia.
Spill disc golf. Yeah.
To help recognize players of all ages and backgrounds, we are excited to announce the PDGA Global Master Series.
Beginning January 2023, anyone competing in a Masters division at a PDGA-sanctioned tournament will qualify.
You'll be ranked with other players in your division from around the world. And the player with the 8 highest rated rounds will become a PDGA Global Master Series champion.
Visit pdga.com/GMS.
Ledgestone. Every summer, hundreds of disc golfers flock to the greater Peoria, Illinois area to compete in the sport's richest and most charitable event, the Ledgestone Open. But what does Ledgestone look like for the rest of the year? On the surface, Ledgestone is one of disc golf's leading retailers, but look a little closer and you'll find a group of motivated individuals providing the best possible service to the disc golf community. So whether you're building a bag, wanting to support your favorite pro, or looking to add to your disc golf wardrobe, choose the retailer that's as passionate about the sport as you are. Choose Ledgestone.
On to the 5th. You're looking at a 451-foot par 4.
Yeah, one of the more attackable par 4s out here, and the easiest par 4 you'll see in the front 9. You're looking for roughly a 230 to 60 foot shot to land here and have an Anheuser angle to the basket, which is just around this corner underneath the tree towering over the fairway in the cluster of oak trees.
Yeah, super sharp dog leg here. Just play into that landing zone.
You're going to be just short of the gallery there as MJ throws his tee shot. He loves it. Already spun around. And he should love it because that is A1 positioning for MJ.
Just about everybody, if they can land in that relative spot, will have a virtually identical number of feet to the basket. Now, whether or not they all have a favorable angle, that's what we're going to have to determine here in a moment.
I mean, just in time for how relevant that statement was to Joe Shot, who went a little bit out the back and will have a tighter Anheuser. So you see Martin with the pro move to put the towel on the tee. He pulls it a little bit to the right. But sneaks
Very
around.
fortunate.
Yeah, I think he kind of did that in the previous round. We saw him out here. Justin to lead, or not lead, but to round up the card. He looks to be contesting the tree on the corner, and he just beat it.
It's beyond it.
Yeah, all four players here with a great shot at birdie.
You can almost see all four discs here from this shot of Martin. So, catches that odd sort of half a branch there in front of him.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate.
So, gets...
And Joe will probably be looking to put this shot kind of high. Yep, he does, because he wants to cut the angle.
Nicely put.
Yeah, a little bit obstructed, but that'll be a little less than 20 feet, I'd say. Can MJ get the rare turkey out here in the final 9? That looks a little tight, but no, it's perfect. Great shot.
Justin now also from... We'll say Justin's from 170 instead of 180. Give him a little credit for that perfectly placed drive. Not enough Anheuser angle for Justin.
Yeah, and that's the common mistake on this hole. See if Martin can just get up and down here. That looks fine.
No problem. Within 12 to 15 feet there.
So we should be seeing Justin here first, and we are from maybe 55 to 60 feet, I would imagine.
That's exactly right.
He just kind of let that one go low and didn't give it a chance.
This is Joe's attempt for birdie. 22 feet.
Nice putt from Joe there.
Perfectly placed.
As you said on the last hole, MJ, I mean, more than relevant, tied for the lead, has a chance to match Joe's birdie here and remain tied at the top. And he does just that.
So our leaders move to 4 under par, 3 clear of Martin.
And Martin still manages to maintain composure and put in for the par. One more look at Joe's birdie putt there.
Putts with that noticeable nose down angle. We're on to the 6th, the par 5 at 947 feet. Sort of drifting to the right here from the tee box. Not as tight as some earlier holes have been, but for a 947-foot hole, still very, very tight, down to a sharp cornering dogleg here. Not too dissimilar from the hole we just played in terms of its shape, but now we meander drifting to the left instead of the right at the end, all the way back here to this basket. Once you've made the corner, you've still got a pretty significant shot to try to access this basket.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. You're looking for a slow turning but never fading shot here as MJ comes close to that tree on the left. That's not terrible there. He'll have some kind of a swing, but he definitely was off to the left of the intended shot in the fairway. As Joe is next on the tee. He looks like he threw something slower there.
Yeah, kind of placement. Gets a nice little dance there on the ground to better footing. You can see a gallery member there in the distance wearing red. If you can Anheuser something right at them, not unlike what it looks like Martin may have just accomplished.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't hyzer out.
Yeah, needs it to sit.
He might have a tight gap there just between the spectator and the tree to his left or our right. Justin last on the tee here. And he doesn't quite have this turned over, but he threw that a little bit shorter, and he'll also have some kind of tighter gap.
MJ playing first now. Still has something around 280 feet just to make the corner.
Yeah, and he left himself very pinched off, so I would imagine he's going to pinch himself off again, which that was a very good tree kick, or else he would have done just that.
First things first, miss tree in front of me. After that...
Says all he wanted to do was miss the tree in front of him there. After that, take what he gets. Here's
Every
Justin.
Victory. Yeah.
Justin
Speaking of that,
does not miss the tree in front of him.
Do you think MJ put some sort of hex there? I mean, he's a nice guy. I'm just kidding, of course. He would never do that. As Joe here, yeah, looks 330 would get him around the corner, and this looks a little tight as well. He just goes inside there, unfortunately. Impressive towel catch. He's been doing some acrobatics with that thing.
Now Justin's
good miss here. Oh, he's going with the roller. I was going to say the proper miss here with distance is to the right, because you'll open up the angle and still leave yourself with some sort of a shot. Looks like Martin is having to do the exact same thing. So somewhere near the red shirt people would be ideal, but he leaves himself similar to Joe, but not quite as pinched.
Yeah. They cleared out all of those trees there on the inside, trying to create maybe some options.
And how often do you see back-to-back forehand rollers? I mean, I think we've seen 3 in a row here.
Are we going to go for 4?
I think we are.
Big bounding skip there and down.
So
that's a good tree. Keeps him from going further.
Yeah, it doesn't look that great down there, but you're actually leaving yourself with a straight shot to the basket from roughly 250 feet, 300 feet at most. So he's actually going to be okay there. And Justin is just looking to get somewhere near that tree, and that lightest colored tree that you saw through the field goal, if you will, and looks like he does better than that.
Pretty good shot to work things around there.
Yes, celebration. Every gap MJ has here is tight, so let's hope he can just penetrate through, and he went very tight.
Oh, missed his window by a matter of maybe 6 inches. That branch he hit, he was trying to go over. There was a little window there, and that was kind of his... That was one of those other situations where he chose to take the risk.
Yeah, and you see here how Martin has exactly what I was thinking. Just a straightforward 300 or so foot shot, and he executes that really well. As Joe finally gets to throw a normal shot, just like Martin did. He left that a little bit to the right, but it squeaks through, scares the cameraman, and he'll have something in the range of 30 feet or so.
So now MJ forced to manufacture something out of the woods.
Yeah, with the forehand at that. And he hit the branch right above him.
So still 100 feet away from the basket. We'll play next.
That was a decent run, but he'll be relinquishing some strokes back to the course there and back to the the 4-person field at that.
60-footer off the basket for Justin.
And he actually, he felt good about that one. Just the branches took enough off of it just to be a little short. And this putt's a little bit longer than it looks with the camera angle. It doesn't matter. Joe puts it in.
No, acknowledges the gallery cheering on a completely different hole for something else that happened.
I think we've all done that a time or two.
Yeah. Oh, for me? Well, thanks. Martin now, 15 feet. Saves the par. So Martin and Joe both save pars.
Yeah, very eventful pars. I'd say they each went on their own little journey there and ended up in the same, meaning Martin and Joe.
Justin in for the bogey. MJ in for the bogey. We have a solo leader in Joe with just 3 holes to play.
As we take one more look into this putt from Joe to save par. Low left, it doesn't matter. He gave it enough height and appropriate power, and he's in.
Here is the 7th. Looking at a par 3 at 325 feet.
Yeah, for a par 3, this thing plays very tough. Any early tree results in almost like playing a different manufactured par 3 that you've created yourself with a tight window. These players are looking probably to hyzer out a little bit and accept a long putt unless you pop up onto the little bit of a more right gap in the center, as Joe is bleeding this over on the gap I was talking about, leaving it a little short. That should be an easy par from there.
Yeah, just about 90 feet away from there is all.
And if Martin's going to charge, he needs to start it right now, and he is going with the backhand roller again.
With the roller again here on the 7th.
See if he can catch a tree, leave it close. Yeah! He does!
Oh, boy, he does.
I think he might have hit the same tree before, or either way, he was in a very similar spot. Excellent shot from Martin. And as the Woods technician goes up to work, leaks out a little bit right. Oh, and just catches a tree. That gap does exist, believe it or not. He'll be similar to Joe, I would imagine.
Justin, initial gap accomplished. Now, oh, beautiful tree kick allows him to continue down the fairway. Lands basically pin high, about 27 to 30 feet off to the left.
Yeah, it looks like Joe and MJ are even with each other here. Similar shots, but Joe will have a couple more trees in the way as MJ up that nicely. I would expect Joe to go on the hyzer route here. And he does.
Yep, he does.
To take that tree out of play. He's not trying to give any more strokes away. And we have 2 putts here for birdie from Justin first.
All right, Justin in with his first birdie of the final 9.
Yeah, great putt from him. And there's a smile, too. Martin does it again with the roller birdie on hole 7.
Things getting very, very interesting now.
Yeah, we have 2 players within, I guess Martin's 2 shots from the lead. MJ is still 1.
Yeah, everyone's separated 1 to 1 to 1 there in that top threesome with just 2 holes to play.
And 1 more hole with significant OB that we are about to see.
Indeed, hole number 8, a 389-foot par 3. You're playing... well, where we're flying right now is OB, and you can see the stakes here as the OB sort of swings in from the left, and then from here on, the OB is there on your right side. We're playing to the second basket here. Those that sort of wooden fence there created by all of those cutoff phone poles. You can hit those and stay in bounds, so a lot of players treating those like a bit of a backstop, and Martin is playing first.
This would be huge for him to get it in bounds. He has thrown an absolutely perfect shot. Martin is doing a great job at recreating previous round occurrences.
He is. He's throwing identical shots to what we've seen from him earlier in the week.
Yeah, that huge time for him to complete that. As here's Justin on the tee, looking to maybe get his second birdie. Ooh, takes a tree kick. He'll have some kind of a tough shot there at saving par. One thing to note in this hole is if these players go out of bounds, they do have an optional drop zone. So if you go out of bounds by the basket, you get to play that shot by the basket. As Joe throws here, and that spot's going to be kind of tough there. He's in bounds.
He is safe. Yep.
I think the person down there that gave him the safe sign has done a tremendous amount of work on this course. I often see him on the same hole. He must hang out here often as MJ's about to throw his next shot.
It's a common tree and a common kick. Thankfully, most of what I've seen off of that tree this week has stayed in bounds, but you're left with something like this.
Yeah, and if MJ's having to throw the sidearm, you can tell that it's an uncomfortable shot.
Oh, he had a very similar occurrence, I think, earlier in the week.
Yeah, I think that was him as well. He hit a tree and rolled OB in the previous round. So Joe has a shot here. It looks like he's done pretty well. Yeah,
that's sit. Yep,
that's a good shot.
It does.
Because he also hit the little tree to the left of the catch cam as we were seeing the angle and went out of bounds in the previous round. So he'll have a good shot at saving par. And Justin is lining up an interesting shot here, it looks like.
Yeah, not a lot of options from there. Wants this to bound over the hillside.
He's got a long chance.
So MJ now taking relief from where that disc went out of bounds. Looking at something close to 50 feet here.
Let's see if you can put this one in and give the patrons another wave there, a reason to cheer also.
Oh,
very close.
So Justin, similar distance.
This would be an incredible par save. Man, it was pretty much the same run there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit high, weak side angle.
Joe, this is huge. This is from right around 25 feet or so.
Yeah, he's
big putts.
Thank goodness.
Because he knows Martin is in there for the birdie, just 12 feet away or so, and knows that we're about to have ourselves just a one-stroke difference going into the final hole.
That's right. It's crazy how players play this many holes, and they gravitate back towards each other to give you that final last anticipation to see who's going to come out on top. As I would imagine Martin taps this in. He holds to his routine, and he does. As Grant was saying, one stroke separates these competitors.
Unfortunately, MJ's double bogey takes him probably out of the hunt here with just one hole to play. So we move on to the 9th and the 99th hole of this Disc Golf World Championships. With Joe Rovere, a one-stroke lead over Canada's Martin Hendel. We get a look at the 9th. A 732-foot par 4. Playing uphill to start. Then meandering sort of a bit right and back to the left.
Yeah, this honestly, for a finishing hole, requires... It's a very demanding tee shot. A very, very hard birdie. I think if Joe can par this hole, he's going to be the champion.
Yeah, it would be just a remarkable birdie. I'm not sure, I don't have this note in front of me, but the number of birdies carded in total here at the 9th at Northwood Black cannot have been many during the course of the entire week.
I honestly wouldn't say more than one. And Martin stays alive. He takes a decent kick there. So this tee shot is huge for Joe. If he hits a tree early and sprays, Martin's going to have a chance. If he pipes it, it's going to go huge. That's a little bit off to the left, but that's not terrible. He's definitely not in birdie range, but par is very, very obtainable for Joe. As we see Justin here lining up his shot. Got that a little bit inside, actually a lot of it inside. We'll see what happens, and pretty much drop straight down. That's not too bad.
Now MJ.
He followed Justin's line just much lower.
So MJ will play first. Just looking to get this in position where he can go at the basket with his third. Does a good job of it.
Yeah, it was a nice shot. Yeah, these players are still insanely far away from the basket.
Oh, sure, yeah. This is all about the next shot, really.
And that's why Martin's laying this roller down. Yeah, it's such a far shot.
Well, he's got no choice. He's really got to force the issue here, being the player that's behind a stroke.
I would agree, and he's probably still 175 feet out or so. So we see Justin lining up his shot. This shot covered a lot of distance.
That's honestly a pretty spectacular shot for here at the 9th. He's only circle two's edge at most from where he landed.
So Joe is potentially 3 shots away from closing the deal here.
All right. Mission accomplished there on that one.
Yeah, he's going to have to contend with some trees there, though. I mean, it's not over yet. Here's MJ.
Still about 320 out.
I was going to guess about 280. Dang, that's further than I thought, but I definitely believe it. So that would make.
Now this.
Go ahead.
This one is about 280, 285 for Joe.
And there's plenty of guardian trees. If he were to hit the furthest guardian tree, it would still leave him with roughly, or the closest to the pin guardian tree, still with roughly 40 feet or so. So he's really looking to just kind of get lucky here.
Oh, boy.
That was pretty lucky.
Yeah, that's a perfect angle for that deflection.
Oh, and then Martin has a very adverse lie here. He's having to throw an interesting shot out, and Joe probably just let out a giant sigh of relief, but Martin still from downtown here. Let's see if he can convert.
Little 70-footer there, falling just a little bit short, knowing he's going to take a bogey here.
This is for birdie from Justin, isn't it? This would be amazing.
It was indeed.
Left it a little low.
So Justin will tap in for the par. This is, I was about to say, Joe's got a stroke to play with, so he's just going to lay that up. It was only a 38-footer or so, but why bother?
See if MJ can give the fans something to cheer about, and unfortunately he just kind of pulls it, but they're even doing him dirty with the, you're still out. He doesn't take more than a second, puts it in for bogey.
See the tournament director back there, Nate Heinold, beginning to step into the frame.
Yeah, Nate's done a lot for our area, to say the least, and running a bunch of big tournaments throughout the years.
Spectacular effort. Want to give credit to Martin Hendel for the fight that he put up this week. Also Justin and Michael Johansen.
Masters Disc Golf World Champion in the MP40 division, Joe Rovere.
The ultimate sigh of relief there from Joe Rovere. Having a little fun now. Very intense player. A PDGA World Championship is on its way to Arvada, Colorado. Joe Rovere, you took down the MP40 division. First thoughts, how does it feel?
It feels amazing. This has been a long year. So my grandma passed away, and I had a lot of things going on, and I've worked my tail off, so I've worked for a long time. So first thoughts are just, feels amazing. Like I've worked so hard for this.
Crazy round. Things started with you tied at the top with Martin, and then Martin fell back. Then MJ made a charge, actually tied for the lead at one point. And then Martin came back to life late in the round. What were your emotions as you went through this round hole by hole?
You know, it was crazy. I kept trying to squash my emotions. I mean, I'm an emotional person. I'm an emotional player, and I can use it to my benefit, but can also hurt me. So I tried to just squash it, and I knew I felt good at the beginning of the round. My putts felt good. I had some nervy putts earlier in the other round, and I was just trying to squash my emotions and focus on the basket and just I mean, it's so hard to putt. It's so hard to execute when there's this much pressure. So I wanted no emotions at all. So I really just kind of squashed it and just tried to execute and focus only on that shot, that one thing.
You were able to lay up there on the last hole knowing that you had a stroke to play with. Was there any point before that moment where you had some sense that you might be getting ready to be a PDGA World Champion?
No. Martin putted incredibly, and I don't know, you got to watch the video to see how well he putted. He made so many 50, 60, 70, 80 footers over and over and over. So when that last hole, and he had about an 80 footer, I counted that as in. So at no point did I think I was going to win ever. I thought, he's going to make this, I'm going to miss, and we're going to go into a playoff. I was already thinking about the playoff. So once he didn't make that putt, that's when I had to think, like, wait, what just happened? And then I pulled my phone out, and I had to really process it all, because I just had been focusing on, my shots, doing my thing. And once I was like, wait, I can lay this up, and I can still win. And that's when it hit me, and the hairs on the back kind of rose, and I started to get goosebumps, and I kind of got teary-eyed, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. So that's how it happened.
Several more majors on the calendar yet this year. Will we see you again?
So I'm working at a new school this year. I'm a robotics teacher, and I've been doing it for about 20 years. And there's another school in town that wants to start a robotics program. And so I'm going to start working there. The administration there, they sound like amazing people. Everybody says they're amazing people. So if you guys are watching this, let me go to the U.S. Masters. I'm actually going with Chris Bragg to play around in the morning at Camden 2, so we can get ready for that. So I'm now focused on the next one. It's amazing, but I'm already ready to go practice, and I'm hungry for another one.
Discs are literally flying at us here as the rest of the events wrap up here at the 2022 Masters Worlds. I mean, you're a little conspicuous. I'm pretty sure they were throwing at you. Pink on red. Will this be the final round get-up from this point forward? Will this be your Tiger Woods?
I'll try to make it that, but I'm colorblind, so I do what I want. I just wear what I want. Nothing matches, and I kind of gave up a long time ago. When I'm at home, my wife will, nah, I don't wear that shirt. You should wear this one, but she's not here, so I've been wearing all kinds of crazy stuff. I had purple shorts on, and I thought I had blue shorts on the other day, and it's orange paint on orange grass. I can't see the OB line, so the guys in my cart are like telling me if I'm in or out every time. So we'll go ahead and say, I'm going to go with pink and red here on out.
All right. Well, I mean, the way you played today, you just keep doing what you want. Congratulations. Joe Rovere is a world champion.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Go Colorado!
Joe Rovere is proud of where he's from. Likes to get that Go Colorado in as much as he can, and he deserves a chance to shout out whoever and wherever he wants after this effort this week here at the 2022 PDGA Masters World Championships. Garry, any final thoughts?
I mean, this was a pleasure all week to watch Joe and Martin battle. A little bit of MJ mixed in there, and I agree with you. Joe has earned the right. And what other way that fits him the best? You think of Joe, you think of Colorado, and he took it down for us today. So
One final look here at our final standings. We already mentioned 5th through 10th and beyond there. Everybody locked in before this final 9. You see now how that final 4 shaped up. Michael Johansen with a great showing. Also, the aforementioned Martin Hendel. Congrats to Justin Bunnell for making the final 9 and playing an outstanding tournament. Joe Rovere with his first ever major victory. Also playing the best round there of the final 9. Seems kind of apropos that he would close out on top. Thanks for watching the 2022 PDGA Masters Disc Golf World Championships right here. Joining the PDGA on YouTube. Several majors to go yet in 2022, so make sure you like, follow, and subscribe so that you don't miss a minute of the action from the PDGA.